What's going on, everybody? It's me, Working Man, and I thought I would do a review on Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 1. I gotten a couple comments from people on the one I put out about how the Harcourt scene was similar to the John Walker scene. Um, some people disagree. This guy, he says, not really. Plenty of differences for two very typical scenes. Wait, what? Very typical scenes. I don't know what he means by that. Um, but yeah, I wrote back. I just thought it felt similar. John says, I dedicated my life to your mandates. Then Harcourt says, I've done everything she was, or then Harcourt says, I have done everything she was told to. I don't think I worded that right. Also, both of them are both had their entire lives taken away by the government. But yeah, Jake McBrick, he's a pretty cool guy. He, pretty much, number one guy. He responds to pretty much all my videos. He's a, like I said, really cool guy. Appreciate him, watching my videos. If you're watching Jake, I really appreciate all that you do for me. Um, but yeah, uh, really, like I said, really appreciate it. Let's see. But yeah, then this guy, he came along, said, let's see. I think it's okay that they kept her because the daughter is Peacemaker's best friend. I would put, that's lame. I think Vigilante should be his best friend. He was in season one. I feel like James Gunn is keeping her because he knows her and she's a friend, or she's just for DEI purposes. Neither is really good. He says Peacemaker said Vigilante was not his best friend and or not his best friend numerous times in season one. But yeah, he only said that because, well, one, Eagly was his best friend, and two, he was just trying to be cool or whatever. He didn't really want to open up to Vigilante. He also said she was his best friend in season one. I don't remember him saying that she was his best friend. I know they said they were friends, but I don't know about best friend. Um, why would they throw her out? Should they throw her out solely for being a black lesbian? At that point, it's not about stopping wokeism, but about being racist. But I disagree. Vigilante killed the Butterfly family for Peacemaker. Vigilante risked his life to save Chris. Um, yeah, basically, like he saved his life during the was it White Dragon or Red Dragon? I can't remember what his dad's superhero or supervillain name was. But yeah, Waller's daughter didn't do anything to help Chris. She was just there to like spy on spy on the group or whatever. Let's see. She was put on the team to report back to her mom, Waller. Waller is gone. So what do we need her for? She has no combat skills, and a smaller, tighter cast is always better. When you have too many characters, it gets watered down. Right now, we have Chris, Waller's daughter, Vigilante, Harcourt, Neckbeard, Rick Flag Sr., and his assistant. Judo Master is returning, and we have Chris's dad and brother. That's 10 characters. Do we really need her? And then I put, believe me, I'm not racist. My whole channel is basically around John Walker. I love John's friend Lamar. Wish he would have gotten Serum too and was John's partner. They had a great friendship. I just hate bad characters. Sometimes they might be black. Let's see. But anyway, yeah, I wrote some stuff down here about the episode, so we'll get into it. Okay. So yeah, Peacemaker starts with the Justice Gang replacing the Justice League, and for some reason, like Peacemaker says that Green Lantern's into puke which I don't know why. Maybe that's just something that Peacemaker does, is like he spreads rumors about people, because I know they did the thing in season 1, which was kind of like mean or whatever. You know, Stephen Amell, who played Green Arrow, he went to a Brony convention or My Little Pony convention. I don't know. I guess to meet with fans or something. And hell, even if he was a brony, I mean, who cares? But anyways, what's his name? Peacemaker said that he liked to take it up the butt, dressed as Twilight Sparkle, which is kind of mean or whatever. Because Stephen Amell, he's a great guy. Let's see. I feel like they could have done better. Maybe have Chris go through the multiverse door and end up in the new DCU. Yeah, I think that would have been an interesting way to go about it. Let's see. In the multiverse room, an alien burns a gerbil, and he kind of waves to him and is like, "Hey, morning." And they kind of act like like it's just normal or whatever, like he's taking out the trash or something. Guess it was supposed to be funny. But like weird neighbors. Peacemaker comes across a door that was nearby, but let's see, but never went in his whole life. Yeah. So basically, like there's this room that he's been in multiple times to get helmets and stuff, and never did he go to any of the other doors or anything. I mean, it's kind of bad writing, but there. I mean, you could have it like where, let's say, in the pocket dimension that Chris's dad. I don't know what his name is. The T1000 or whatever. He basically, maybe could have told Chris like, "Hey, don't go in those other doors. They're dangerous. They'll kill you or something." Something that might, keep him away from it. Let's see. But yeah, they don't say that it's Earth 2. I'm just, I basically say it's Earth 2 or whatever. The Earth 2 door has the same password as his door. Highly unlikely, considering, multiverse stuff. Like, if that, reality is so different from yours, it's pretty unlikely that it would have the same password. Um, the opening of the show is awful. Like, I don't know what song that is, and the dancing and everything. It's just really cringy and awful. I don't know, like who, or I don't know, like what kind of music. I thought James Gunn had like better taste, but I mean, this was just really bad. I mean, you can look it up on YouTube. It's awful. Um, let's see. Chris moves into his dad's house. Waller's daughter has no point in being in the show. Let's see. Vigilante is Chris's best friend. Why not have Vigilante pick him up in the Vigilante mobile? Because they talked about that in season 1. He's like, he's like, this is the Vigilante mobile, and he's like, this is just a car, and he's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Put like a giant V on the hood or something? He's like, it'd make me, uh, or it would make it easier for people to track me down or whatever. But it would be a cool way to like have Vigilante fix up the car and actually make it into the Vigilante mobile. I think that'd be pretty sick. Um, White Rabbit has a small cameo. One of Batman's villains. They do a bit where the mic is on and it's kind of funny, just a little. Um, I do like Sean Gunn as Maxwell Lord. Um, it was pretty funny when Max says, "How many times did I mention that White Rabbit or mention White Rabbit's camel toe?" That was kind of funny. Chris says, "Sucking dick isn't a put down; it's a compliment." To spell compliment. But yeah, I think that's weird, but I don't know why they want to make Chris bisexual, and that feels like it's just there to, like I said, I even wrote it down here. Like it's just there for woke points or whatever to satisfy the woke, I don't know, the LGBT crowd or whatever. I even hate saying the letters. Let's see. We then go to the Harcourt scene where Amanda Waller blacklisted Harcourt. It feels like the John Walker court scene. Let's see. We then have awkward dialogue with Chris and Harcourt. Yeah, he goes to her apartment and he's like, "Oh, what happened to your hand?" Because she was punching her dash or whatever and till her knuckles bleed. And then Chris kind of, I don't know, he's like, "Hey, are we gonna talk about what happened on the boat?" And she's like, "Nothing happened." And then basically she kind of tells him that I don't really like you or whatever, and they have no chemistry between them. So yeah, Chris goes home. He's upset. But Chris is upset. Harcourt doesn't like him, so he throws a gross orgy. There are small dicks and tits everywhere. Also, a lot of people are ugly in that scene. 'Cause, yeah, it's so gross. A dude and a woman make out with Chris's face. Another gross scene. Also, more woke stuff. For some reason, Vigilante is now close to Neckbeard. I don't know why they. I mean, I know in season one they had a little bit of a back and forth, but I didn't feel like they had good chemistry together because, I thought Vigilante was supposed to be friends with Chris, not Neckbeard. I don't know what that's about. They talk about stupid shit like owls. Yeah, it's a really cringy scene. Um, what's his name? Vigilante. He's like, oh, I know so much about owls and stuff like that. While he's at work, and then his boss is like, "Hey, get back to work. Your section's a mess." And he's like, "Oh, I gotta go." And I don't know. He almost acts like a girl, that doesn't want to get off the phone or something. It's just like I said, it's a really weird scene. It's very cringy. I don't like it. We go to Rick Flag Sr., who is watching Peacemaker. He probably wants revenge for his son. He doesn't say that, but it's kind of implied or whatever. His assistant's pretty hot. Um, they notice a terror in reality coming from Chris's house. Uh, we see Chris's brother. I think let's see. Oh yeah, I think he might be Deadshot in this world. His costume has the wrist gun similar to Deadshot. He doesn't really have the eyepiece thing though, so he might not be Deadshot. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, it would be kind of cool if he was though, because Deadshot's a pretty cool character, and it would make sense that because Deadshot is a gun-based superhero, and so is Peacemaker. His brother is played by Roy from The Office. Uh, Also, he says Bloodhaven instead of Bloodhaven, which is weird. I mean, I put down maybe it's an Earth 2 thing, sort of like in Rick and Morty, whenever they say Parmesan instead of Parmesan. I mean, maybe that's why they say Bloodhaven instead of Bloodhaven. It's weird. Let's see. It was nice to see Chris bonding with his family. We don't see his mom. Let's see. We then go to a bar where Harcourt starts a fight to get out her aggression. The fight is a little over the top. I know she is trained, but getting hit in the face can break your nose and teeth. We then see Waller's daughter and Neckbeard talking. It's really boring. Um, he sends her a dick pic by accident, and he has a big dick, which is supposed to be funny, I guess. I wrote down it's like Suicide Squad killed the Justice League type of humor. Like that scene when you know, or what's his name, Captain Boomerang pisses on the Flash, and everybody's like, "Oh man, you got a big dick," and then they salute him, and I guess it's supposed to be funny, but it's not. Let's see. Um, we see our Earth 2 Peacemaker. It looks kind of cool, except for his helmet. That looks a little cheap and weirdly shaped. Yeah, I didn't like the way his helmet looked. He has magic ninja stars that shoot out of the side of his helmet. It's like one of his powers or whatever. Like the helmets. They shred the enemy. That was kind of cool. Um, let's see. The two peacemakers fight, and the Earth 2 peacemaker dies. Chris hits his jetpack like Boba Fett, and he flies up into a spiky chandelier. No, it's spelled chandelier. But yeah, and that's pretty much the episode. You know, it. I don't know. Like I said, it was weird. Because it's like we're going into the new DCU. So far, we've had Superman and this, and I feel like this is a weird thing to like kind of go to. Like you got Superman, which is the wholesome hero and everything, and then which hang on, I gotta say this. I think James Gunn might have like ADHD or something because he's always trying to do too much. Like he always has too many characters, and I noticed, in Superman he had too many characters, and now in Peacemaker he has too many characters. I mean, why is he trying to do so much in these fucking, you know? I mean, I don't know if he's like, okay, we got to introduce this character, boom, 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 boom. you know I mean, just take it slow, introduce like good characters first. Like, I mean, if I was in charge of the DCU, Batman would be my first choice to introduce because Batman makes a lot of money. I mean, he's like DC's number one hero. And then you could go into Superman, and then after that I would probably choose either Wonder Woman or Green Arrow or Flash. Probably Flash, just to kind of wash the taste of the Ezra Miller Flash out of people's mouth. Also, Flash is a very popular hero. Probably my favorite of the Justice League or whatever. Either him or Green Lantern I would say would be my favorite. I don't know. I mean, well, maybe Batman. It's hard to say. It's kind of a three-way tie between them. Batman is pretty badass. Green Lantern has, pretty cool powers. I like the ability to create anything with my mind. And then, Flash also has great powers. Being able to move at the speed of light and stuff. That's pretty badass. Um, but yeah, that that's pretty much I guess all I have to say about it. I mean, I hope going forward, the DCU will get better. I mean, I know I've always been more of a Marvel guy myself, but right now Marvel it's not doing too hot. Like Fantastic Four was kind of meh. It was on the same level as Superman. It was just like 5 out of 10. Not great, but not good. Just kind of eh. But yeah, I mean, I hope both gets better. I'm hoping you know Marvel and DC will start catering to their fans. Like us, the men in our 30s. Uh, yeah, like if you look at most YouTube pages that are about Marvel or whatever, it's usually a white guy in his 30s or something like that. So yeah, I mean, just cater to us. You don't have to, do all this woke nonsense. Like, I mean, I'm personally tired of all the gay superheroes and um, the inclusiveness, like the whole what do you call it? The Echo show where it's like, oh, we gotta have a disabled superhero. And like in the comics, they got like a Spider Woman that swings in a wheelchair. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, really? Do we really need a crippled Spider Woman? That's lame. I mean, I don't want to read that. I mean, it might be funny, but it's probably not supposed to be funny. You know? I mean, I personally like I hate multiverse stuff. Like, I mean, so far like the what do you call it? The Peacemaker show. Like, I know it's only been episode one, but they really haven't overdone it with the multiverse stuff. I mean, it's like, yeah, we got the nice next door multiverse. Okay, that's fine, whatever. But whenever you start, taking it too far, like, you know, to me, like too far is like, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I fucking hated that movie so much. I mean, do we really need like 50 different, or well, actually, there's like more like 1,000 different Spider-Men, like I don't really care for Miles Morales. I don't care for Gwen Stacy. I don't care for Spider-Man 2099. Pretty much like all those other Spider-Men, I don't really care for. I feel like there should only be like one Spider-Man, Peter Parker. That's it. I don't need 50,000 different Spider-Men or whatever. But anyways, yeah, I'm kind of going on a tangent here. Um, but yeah, I'm hoping DC and Marvel get their shit together. I want to see more John Walker stuff. Like, I mean, if they were to give us like a trilogy of John Walker movies, like maybe have him team up with hell, I don't know, Yelena, and go on a mission, and sort of do like the Winter Soldier, but with John Walker and Yelena, and I'm sure there's probably like tons of villains they haven't introduced that they could have John Walker and Yelena go up against. Um, Someone told me that Purple Man, which I don't really know much about. He's kind of like a D-list villain or whatever, but he was in like Agents of Shield or something, and he was played by the guy or the guy that plays Doctor Who. Um, I can't think of his name right now, but he was the 10th Doctor. Um, fuck, what was he was the one before Matt Smith. That's the best I can do. But anyways, I guess that's pretty much it. So, um, yeah, if you can, leave a like and a sub. I appreciate it. Um, let me know if you think that Peacemaker is good, or do you think like me? Is it a piece of trash, or I mean, well, I guess trash is a bit strong. Like so far, like if I had to rate Peacemaker just off of the first episode, like just if I rated the episode by itself, it would be probably a 3 out of 10. It was definitely definitely below average, but it wasn't like a 1 out of 10 or anything. It wasn't like the worst thing I've ever seen. Like I said, there was a few things I thought was funny, and there was a little bit of woke stuff. I don't care for that. But yeah, I think, well, maybe the biggest problem I have with the Peacemaker series so far is there's no character that I like. I mean, I did like Vigilante from season one, but so far he hasn't done anything. So I don't know. We'll see if they can, keep up with, like they can make it better, basically. But anyways, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and hop off here, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.